My name is Pauline Ugalde, and I'm an artisan at Blue Forge Press and Blue Forge Sound. Today I'll be talking about the topic of a lore Bible, specifically what it is, how I created it for my first novella thesis, and the role of the website Television Tropes and Idioms, and a fan spin-off of the site called Overly Sarcastic Productions, or OSP for short. I initially learned about the term lore Bible from the trope, or loosely speaking, storytelling device from Television Tropes and Idioms called All in the Manual, which essentially consists of plot or character information that is present outside the actual work itself, which may include tie-in novels, video games, films, and so on. This might even include context provided by the creator themselves directly. Because I'm visually impaired, oftentimes information provided all there in the manual was the only way that I could learn things about a work that otherwise I couldn't decipher through audio cues alone. Learning what a lore Bible was through this context mattered significantly while I was researching thesis and even while doing heavy revisions, because I wanted to avoid all the characters both being similar to each other and too similar to myself. So in order to create characters who were distinct in both ways, I adopted a form of method acting where in the words of Television Tropes and Idioms, I would try to replicate the life circumstances, mannerisms, and emotional feelings of the characters that I portrayed. Obviously, life circumstances wasn't an option, so instead, I wanted to create lists of the works of fiction that each character would enjoy based off their individual experiences and personalities. This would avoid something that TV Tropes calls the small reference pools problem, where essentially they state that in certain types of fandoms, like contemporary for the time, music, film, and television, they can make references to those things assuming that the audience will understand. But if it's not a contemporary subject, or if the subject is sufficiently niche, there are very few examples of those things that characters and authors can reference safely without an audience being confused. Obviously, I couldn't purchase every single work of fiction that I wanted to use, so instead I performed text-based research and even watched Let's Plays on YouTube, and did all I could to leave my comfort zone regarding these works, especially regarding ones which I could neither experience as a consumer or even as an observer. In this way, I figured out which works each character would rely on for emotional grounding when they were distressed, or what they joked about. Lastly, I'll discuss Overly Sarcastic Projections, and specifically the Trope Talk series. This series consists of video essays on YouTube which analyze related tropes in one video, supported by examples written and delivered in the same casual, concise, yet usefully detailed fashion as the site itself. Unlike TV Tropes and Idioms itself, however, the narrator, who calls herself Red, doesn't hide her bias towards certain fandoms, or how excited she is to talk about certain fandoms. She also doesn't avoid speculating on how a trope may affect not only the creator of a work, but the experience of the audience as they see a trope being used in a work, and this includes both positive and negative effects. Even as she does this, however, Red avoids stereotyping certain tropes as good or bad, Instead, she provides examples of both as often as possible, and in this way she demonstrates that tropes are tools, which is the saying that the website uses to describe tropes which both users of the site and fans of an actual work might stereotype as good or bad. Instead, they point out these tropes as the name implies, being tools and therefore functional, and each serving a purpose. It just so happens that perceptions of these tropes and how they affect characters and audiences change over time.